And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We are talking the WRC Future 2027. Yeah, we're kind of skipping a year from 2026 because, let's be honest, not much will change. Maybe getting a new champion, I guess. But there we go. But let's talk the World Rally Championship and everything we know so far for 2027. So, 2027, what we know so far. What's the difference between Rally 1 and WRC 27? Now, the wonderful people at Dirtfish have got an article out, which I'd very much like to talk about and get your views on. Comment below, let us know. So we've got 2026. And then after, what's going to happen? So this time next year, the Rally Championship teams is saying we'll be eyeing homologation dates and finalising what's going to be their 2027 rally cars. What are they going to look like? And more specifically, both for the drivers and I think the audience, how fast are they going to go? Right now, they're known, as it says here, as WRC 2027 cars. Okay, not exactly original. For Rally 1, they're not going to be called that, let's be fair. But they're saying let's stick with that for now. Now, when we look at the chassis, it's going to be new from the ground up. Now, there's been some suggestion that it will be a bastardized Rally 1 setup. However, confidence, fingers crossed, that does not look like it's going to be the case. It leans into this design philosophy and safety demands from this current car. But then the FIA Chief Safety and Technical Officer have made it better. And they've said we finalised the detail for the body shell regulation. We refined some details. Now they're talking about the safety structure. They're going to perform the dynamic side impact crash test before the end of the month, but we can already say that all calculations carried out already show that this new safety structure will meet the highest standards in rallying. Obviously, you don't know until it's really tested, but let's go with what the data says. The data sometimes is wrong. I mean, if the data was always right, we'd have complete, insane speeds of Formula 1 cars, wouldn't we? While keeping in mind that the chassis must also comply with the cost cap, and that's what's really interesting about 2027. It's going to be the cost cap. Now, in a nutshell, that means it's going to be close to Rally 1, and when I say close, it will be a little bit better in terms of stiffness. What does that mean for the actual ride? This is the point of the rule change. Everything we can do to improve safety. Yes, safety clearly is paramount. And the intention is to see these 27 cars running in both. And I thought this was quite interesting and good. I thought this was a positive. So the intention is to see the 2027 rally cars, whatever they're going to be called at the time, running in both the World Rally Championship and the FIA Regional and Domestic Series. So, and another big driver in the efforts to make the cars even safer. The popularity of the R5 and Rally 2 cars around the world has been one of the big rally success stories. For example, just look how competitive the European Rally Championship is and other rallies around the world. But I follow the ERC. Sadly, I've not done as many videos this year, but I'm one person, it's time. But anyway, I digress. So is WRC 27 is to be viewed as the next generation of that car. It's going to be vital. So, and to have that at the European Rally Championship is going to be absolutely amazing. If it is, the same car. I mean, you're going to have stages over the course of the next few years like that are going to be in the WRC, then they're going to be in the ERC, and then swap back. And comparing them for year on year, it's going to be, I think, fascinating. For us, continued Mesterlin, this is a massive improvement compared to these Rally 2 cars. Now, as you know, this regulation is set up for the regional championship. So, we're looking at the framework. It must be accessible and it's got to suit the business model. Yeah, this is the sad bit. The business model for the manufacturers and tuners, which, let's be fair, kind of suck. The business model. Yeah, we're talking about the money. Is that going to take any away from the fans? We're going to really, really have to wait for that. But it's the business model. It is important, though, in a way, the money, because with this cost cap and everything, it is going to allow potentially more teams come in to the World Rally Championship. Privateer teams buying what would be the equivalent of a Rally 1 car, WRC 27 car, and being potentially competitive. I mean, for example, just look with the Mercedes engine in Formula 1, what McLaren are doing now. They're beating the Mercedes Works team. Could that happen? in rally? Absolutely. And what's put on top of those tubes is entirely up to the teams, with the confines, obviously, of this bodywork, which I think is interesting. If you compare the current Rally 1 with the new WRC 27, Mestelin says, they will in fact be very similar, which is good. So it's not a complete massive divergent, but in terms of width and so on, he's saying it's going to be similar. Now, regarding the design, it'll be very close to what we have today, as we keep saying, with a little simplification to avoid crazy designs. Now, this is where it's interesting. The cost. It's €345,000 for the tarmac specification of the car. And they're saying that's a very important target, because this car needs to be suitable for the regional market, for the European Rally Championships and the regional championships you have around the world. It has to be a good business model for manufacturers. Yes, money. I know it's not great always talking money, but I think there are positives, as I mentioned here. Tuners. With all this talk of tuner and how a privateer team will be able to buy its way at the top level, a tuner will have to ally with a single manufacturer running a currently homologated car. Okay, and don't forget the manufacturers are obligated to sell their parts. Now, what's interesting is I'd like to think they're going to be the same spec parts that are on the manufacturer's car. Very similar again to Formula 1 when they do their engines. It has to be the same spec now. It didn't used to be in 2014 with the turbo hybrids came in to, so Mercedes have got to give the same spec to, for example, to McLaren and Williams that have Mercedes engines. The same with Ferrari to their Haas counterparts. They said it's not possible to cherry pick components from various manufacturers, so the potential for running a Toyota engine, this is a shame in a way, isn't it? Matted to a transmission from Skoda, with a suspension from M Sport Ford, it's not possible, but it would be amazing. A Frankenstein WRC beast winning the championship for a privateer team would be brilliant. And they're talking about that you buy all your bits from one place, bolt them onto your FIA source chassis, and then do what you want with the panels. That could be interesting. Now, in terms of the engine will run at Rally 2 specification. We're looking at 300 horsepower. There is some discussion of another engine alternative, saying for the Rally 2 engine, it's already decided, that is already validated by the World Motorsport Council. There's one option. There's also discussion to introduce production-based engine based on production cars, which I think it means more, doesn't it? And it has to be refined with our manufacturers to know if we will validate this concept or not, in addition to the current one. The aim here is to achieve power at a lower cost. Okay, I get it. The engine, like all other key components, will have a cost cap, bringing it within the overall 345,000. Nice. Competition. The competition is going to be the big test in terms of getting new fans and making it competitive. That's really important. Now, from the start of that 2027 season, current Rally 1 cars will be outlawed in favour of WRC 27. The 27 cars and the current Rally 2 machinery will run in the same class, with both cars chasing overall rally wins and the overall World Championship title. That's interesting. Now, when we go to the Autosport, this was obviously a bit earlier in the year, July the 1st, so we're talking about a month and a half ago, give or take. 2 tuners and a new manufacturer showing interest in this evolution. Because let's be fair, we don't really know what Hyundai are going to be doing. Let's be fair. The WRC, as we know, are going to usher in these new regulations. We've already spoken about that with the bodywork, etc. And it's going to be like a common space frame, a defined internal volume, nice pictures there. And Autosport understand there is at least one manufacturer edging closer. It is understood that a meeting with the manufacturer to discuss the potential future will take place at Rally di Romea this week. This was all the way back in July. Neither of the WRC current brands, including the Rally 1 reps, Toyota, Honda and M Sport, are yet to confirm their plans for 2027. That's significant because, as we know, Hyundai have confirmed their plans for 2026, but they're not saying much about the 2027 cars. Interesting. So Hyundai also made its stance clear. Here we go. It requires more flexibility. And at this point, 27 will be focused around internal combustion engines, although the FIA has stated its intentions to open up powertrains for the future. The FIA is, however, in discussion with manufacturers regarding the possibility of allowing a degree of flexibility on the engines that can be eligible for 27. Yeah. And it's talking about the next milestone. So I think 2027, the future of rally, I think it looks better. It's not perfect. Nothing really is. Proof of the eating is going to be, proof of the pudding, as they say, is going to be in the eating. And that's what we're going to have to wait and be patient for like another year and a half. Well, yeah, year and a half-ish. just under that, which kind of sucks, really, if you've got to wait. But there we go. If you made it to the end, though, please give us a subscribe. That'll be absolutely amazing. If you're already subscribed, you just watching this is enough for us. If you're not subscribed, you just watching this again makes us happy. But if you want to help a bit more, hit that like button below. But until then, thank you so much for watching. We'll speak to you soon. And above all else, stay safe.